Are we on? Okay, good afternoon. Welcome to the Victorville Union High School District Personnel Commission meeting, October 5th, 2021. And we'll call this meeting to order at 3:30 p.m. Members present, Mr. Rocha.
Present.
Mr. Valencia, absent. And I, Paula Gonzalez, am present. Ms. Jackson, could you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
Let's begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, do I have a motion to approve the agenda for today?
I move to pass the agenda today, October 5th.
And I'll second that. And discussion?
None?
I would like to suggest that we split the approval of the minutes into two different action items so that we're approving the two different dates for that, and also to make a correction to the dates of the second set of minutes, but I guess we can do that when we get to that action item. There's two different dates, and I would like the record to reflect them individually. Any other discussion?
None?
Okay, for the vote, Mr. Rocha.
Aye.
And I, Paula, vote yes as well. Okay, for public comments, this is an opportunity for the general public to address the commission in person on any item that is under their jurisdiction and purview. Because concerns expressed are not agendized for tonight, the commission cannot take action on items introduced during public comments per state law. If it is appropriate, the commission may agendize any action that might be necessary for a future meeting. Discussions on personnel matters are inappropriate for open session. The commission is committed to protecting the privacy interest of district personnel. Should any member of the public wish to discuss a personnel matter, it must first be brought to the attention of the director. Speakers are cautioned that under California law, no person is immune from liability for making intentionally false or defamatory comments regarding any person simply because those comments are made at a public meeting. Individual speakers shall be allowed 5 minutes to address the commission on each agenda or non-agenda item. The commission shall limit the total time for public input on each item to 20 minutes. And we do have a public comment, and Ms. Jackson, could you keep time for the comment? And this is for Stephanie Felix.
Good afternoon. My name is Stephanie Felix. Real quick, I just would like to make a request that we change the PC meetings from 3:30 to 4:30. That way, we've had numerous requests for that. That way, majority of us can come and attend when we get off work at 4:30. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, CSCA report.
Good evening, Commissioners. I just would like to just address the commission regarding some of the concerns that came out from last meeting that happened in open session. I would just like to say that I came to each of you as an individual and spoke to you individually about concerns that CSCA was having. I personally felt, after listening to the tape, I was not online while it was going live, but I was able to listen to it after. I was under the impression that there was a good intention on solving some of the classified matters, and I'm not sure that that is the intention at this time. I hope that the commission still looks into the things that are going on and the concerns of the members, but I'm very disheartened by what happened at the last PC commission meeting. I have also received several complaints asking for the PC Commission to consider altering the times. I know some of the bus drivers would like to come. People have a more interest in coming with the last few events that have happened over the last several months and with the concerns that are happening in classified. And I still hope, even though the membership is looking to go for removing the PC, whether or not it's removed will be the will of the membership. But I hope, as you all continue to move forward, that you continue to do what's best for classified. If you stay or if you go, that you guys would please look at our concerns and take a valid look into them with a, like I asked before, a non-biased eye, and just look at the concerns of the classified people. Thank you.
Thank you. District Administrator Report. Welcome, Dr. Williams. Do you have anything you'd like to share with us? You're just the public? Dr. Rubalcaba, is there anything you'd like to share?
Alrighty. Good afternoon. Test, test. All right. Always happy to be here with the Personnel Commission. It's busy. It's busier than ever. There's a lot going on, and once again, we are very impressed that Classified has always stepped up and helped during these challenging times. COVID alone has created a lot of work with contact tracing and reaching out to families, and we're very pleased that classified employees, whether they're health technicians or office assistants or school office assistants, really stepping up to do what's best for students, families, and staff. We remind the commission that the district administration remains neutral during this process. If classified decides to move forward with their petition, the district is prepared to follow education code and statute and remain neutral and make sure that the process is, whether it moves forward or not, done with transparency, with dignity, and with respect. And we will keep the commission informed as we get information as well. Other than that, we are looking forward to fall break and hope that everybody does enjoy some time off. As a reminder, the district is hosting vaccine events for all of the community. Ages 12 and up, students can receive the Pfizer vaccine. And in addition, for those who are eligible, the booster is available at our clinics as well. As long as they meet the criteria, they can fill out the form that's available online at the California Department of Public Health, and we'll be happy to offer that as well. Finally, just want to share that at all of our COVID-19 vaccine events, we're also offering the flu vaccine. So for those community members, help spread the word. That is available to the community as well. So happy to be here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, item 5.1, approve minutes of September 14th.
I move to pass the minutes of 9/14/21.
And I second that. And for discussion, I would like to make note on the minutes of September 14th, on the place and date of meeting, that the date reflects September 14th. It says September 2021, but we would like it to have the 14th added to that as well for clarification. Any other discussion?
None.
Okay. For the vote, Mr. Rocha.
Aye.
I vote aye as well. Motion passes. And next, I guess we'll add item maybe 5.1A. I'm not sure, since board docs numbers itself. We'll just say to approve the minutes of September 15th, 16th, 2021. So September 15th to 16th, 2021. Do I have a motion for those minutes?
Move to pass those minutes of 15 and 16, 2021.
And I second that. Discussion?
None.
Okay. I would like to reflect on these minutes, that on the adjournment paragraph, that it states adjourn the special meeting, the Personnel Commission of September 15th-16th. It was a 2-day meeting. I just want to reflect that be reflected on there as well. Any other discussion?
None.
Okay, for the vote, Mr. Rocha.
Aye.
And I as well. Motion passes. Okay, item 5.2, classified personnel report from August 2021.
Wow.
Do I have a,
Yes, I move to pass the classified personnel report.
okay, and I second that. Discussion?
None.
Okay, I do.
Okay, that's,
For August 2021, that was last meeting, this was,
They were in the wrong spot, so when you guys took action, you didn't actually approve it. That's why it's coming back this meeting.
this attachment was attached to the wrong action item?
It was attached to the monthly activity report. It was flip-flopped.
So we approved a monthly activity report that's open for discussion or for information and not this action.
Yes, that's why it's coming back to you for approval.
Okay. Mr. Rocha for the vote?
aye.
Aye as well. Motion passes 2-0. Item 5.3, classified personnel report for September 2021.
Move to pass classified personnel report, September 2021.
I second. Discussion?
None.
Okay. I would, on page 3, just like to make a note that where it says 39-month reemployment list, I did a little bit of investigation. I believe that is the same as the heading 39-month reemployment without the word list, which is the third item on here. So if we can delete one of those headings, so one says none for September and the other says none for September as well, but on this last one, it was conflicting. So if we can have that,
Just one
I believe
spot.
it's a template, I would imagine it's a template, if that could be cleaned up so that it reflects the accurate information. And then as far as the additional hours, kind of cross-checking, is that like orientation for new employees?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, any other discussion?
None.
For the vote, Mr. Rocha?
Aye.
And I as well. Motion passes 2-0. Item 5.4, eligibility list for computer media specialist.
Move to pass the eligibility is for computer media specialist.
I second. Any discussion?
None.
For the vote, Mr. Rocha?
Aye.
I as well. 2-0. Item 5.5, eligibility list for custodian.
Move to pass the eligibility list for custodian.
I second. Any discussion on that?
None.
Seems like we're going to be in kind of fairly decent shape for custodial subs.
If they want to sub, remember, just because they're on the list, they don't have to sub.
Right, right.
Invite them,
But
but
we have a list
We
that
have a
has a
long
few
list.
people on there this time. Okay, for the vote, Mr. Rocha?
Aye.
And I as well. Motion carries 2-0. Item 5.6, eligibility list for instructional assistant special education.
Move to pass the eligibility list for the instructional assistant special ed.
I second. Discussion?
Just a quick question. Are these people going to be on the bus or are they going to be actually
the
do it?
district hasn't interviewed yet, so I don't know where they're going to be.
So
The interviews
there's a
haven't been set up.
possibility?
There's a possibility.
So my question again would be, when this position was recruited, that placed these people on the eligibility list, they were fully aware that they could possibly be placed in a 5-hour position riding a bus all day.
When the position
Even
is-
though the bulletin stated all the instructional assistant duties that come along with the classroom.
And the transfers are flown for the positions, and it tells you the location of where the position is going to
The
be.
transfer for current employees, but for
Eligibility-
the outside world, who, majority of these people are from the outside world, who
when
applied
we-
based upon the bulletin.
So if you look at the bulletin, it says 5 to 8 hours instructional. It gives a detail of where they could be.
The new bulletins, not the transfer bulletin.
So the bulletin for the eligibility list is just to build eligibility list for instructional assistants. The district can place them where the district feels the need is.
Right, but if I saw a bulletin that told me I was going to be working with kids in the classroom, assisting teachers, helping them learn how to count, and okay, so they were not fully rep. Okay. Any other discussion?
Thought I turned my, none. Sorry, excuse me, everybody. I thought I turned off my phone. just one more quick question. This says open competitive, so does
Open
that,
continuous.
It says open competitive.
it says open
But
competitive
it's
here, so
continuous.
And then
does that mean
It
that
says
this is?
continuous here, so this would be
Okay.
one where they can, every few months, they can just
Okay.
keep recruiting and recruiting and recruiting. But it's not transfer, open
Okay.
competitive, so
Thank you.
from the outside world can do that.
No further discussion here.
Okay. For the vote, Mr. Rocha?
Aye.
And I vote no. Okay. So what are we doing to tie? It's no, guys.
Well, it doesn't pass.
It doesn't pass then.
So you understand the district cannot
Hire these
them.
people on a bus, yes. They can.
They can't hire any of them.
Okay.
But that's not the role of the commission to stop the district from being able to hire positions. The eligibility list was prepared properly. It is not the commission's role to tell the district where they can place their employees, commissioners. Just know that.
Well, okay, but it is incumbent upon the commission to either pass or fail something, correct?
But if the list was prepared correctly and the recruitment was done correctly, the recruitment was done for instructional assistance special ed. The district has the right to place the instructional assistants where the district feels the need is. So if that's on the bus or in the classroom, the district has the right to do that. So the eligibility and the recruitment was done correctly. So what would be the reason of not passing the eligibility
So
list?
they were recruited for instructional assistance, special education in the classroom, and that's why they were placed on that list. So
it
this
just-
list could be approved, but when the personnel action report comes up for approval to be assigned to transportation, that could be denied. Okay.
Okay, so where are we at again?
So just know. that you
Where are
guys
we
have
at?
ti- You guys
If we,
have ti-
it's a tie, it's done.
it didn't pass. It
Okay.
has to come back at it for another vote.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I mean, because you guys are, I mean, you're tying the hands of the district and being able to staff their staff. Because the recruitment was for instructional assistance, special education. I will say again, the district can place them based on where the need the district's determined. And if you don't believe me, Dr. Rubicaba, maybe you can speak on, the district has the authority to place.
I don't want Dr. Rubalcaba to do, I think I understand what it is, but I'm just trying to play this over in my head again, that if it was recruited properly. So if, in fact, the number one person on this list was called tomorrow and offered a position on a bus, I don't believe it was recruited properly. So,
But that's
and
the
if
only-
they were to decline it, then they would be bumped off the list. They couldn't say, well, how come one of those other 27 classroom vacancies, I'm not
Well, they have
being
three
offered for that.
opportunities to decline before they're removed from the list, and they're told when they're offered the job where they're going. But it still goes again, the district has the right to place the staff where the district chooses to place the staff. That's not the commission's role to say, district, you can't place them somewhere. That's the role of the district.
But it will be our role when we approve the personnel activity report.
Well, all you
And
guys
if
are
the
approving is
person's
the
already-
activity that's went through the month. The district is the one who hires the positions, you guys. We don't hire. The district hires and fires.
Okay, my vote stands. Item 5.7, eligibility list for Locksmith.
Move to pass the eligibility list for Locksmith.
I second. Any discussion
None.
on this eligibility list? I'm not sure if you know off the top of your head, but would this have been posted for transfer prior to the open competitive?
Yes. Yes, of all positions have to apply for transfer for 5 days per the contract.
Prior to flying it for open promotional?
We usually fly them at the same time because he's the only incumbent in the classification. There's only one person in this classification. We
Right.
only have one.
Okay. Any other discussion?
None.
And, okay, for the vote, Mr. Rocha?
Aye.
And I as well, 2-0. 5.8, eligibility list for maintenance plumber.
I move to pass the eligibility list for maintenance plumber.
I second. Any discussion?
None.
Okay. For the vote,
Aye.
Mr. Rocha? And I as well. Okay, item 5.9, copy of eligibility list, mechanic 2.
Move to pass the eligibility list for mechanic 2.
Okay, I second. Discussion?
None.
I would like to make a note that the percentage for the weight of the test be corrected to 100%, not 1,000%.
Oh, okay.
It's a typo, I understand that, but that's what we're voting on, and so I want to make sure that it is corrected there. Any other discussion?
None.
Okay. Vote, Mr. Rocha?
Aye.
And I as well, 2-0. Item 5.10, initial salary placement for step B for Amanda Uzueta.
Move to pass the initial salary step placement recommendation for
second.
Ms. Usueta.
I second. Any discussion?
None.
Okay, for the vote, Mr. Rocha?
Aye.
And I as well. 2-0. 5.11, initial salary placement at step C for Christine Glass.
Move to pass for initial salary step placement for Ms. Glass.
I second. Discussion.
None.
I would like to make the correction on this recommendation, that this is for the position of health technician. The justification is for health technician. However, the recommendation is stating as it pertains to school bus driver. So I would like that
Okay, but
to be
that's-
reflected to.
That's a confidential document.
Okay. So then, any
I'll
other,
fix that.
any other discussion, Mr. Rocha?
None.
Okay, for the vote,
Aye.
and I vote no. Item 5.12, initial salary placement at step B for Cristo Botello.
I move to pass the initial step placement for Ms. Boteo.
I second.
No discussion
Any
here.
discussion? No discussion. For the vote, Mr. Rocha?
Aye.
And I as well. 2-0. Next, 5.13, initial salary placement at step C for Edith Hernandez.
I move to pass the initial salary step for Ms. Hernandez.
And I second that. Any discussion?
None.
For the vote, Mr. Rocha?
Aye.
And I vote no. 5.14, initial salary placement at step B for Juan Medina.
I move to pass the initial salary step for Mr. Medina.
Okay, I second. Any discussion?
None.
Okay. For the vote, Mr. Rocha?
Aye.
And I as well. 5.15, initial salary placement at step B for Patricia Sanchez.
I move to pass for the initial salary step placement for Ms. Sanchez.
Okay, and I second.
No discussion.
Okay, for the vote, Mr. Rocha?
Aye.
And I vote no. Okay, 5.16, initial salary placement at step C for Tara Jones.
I move to pass the initial salary step placement for Ms. Jones.
I second. Any discussion?
None.
Okay. And for the vote, Mr. Rocha?
Aye.
And I vote no. Item 5.17, initial salary placement at step B for Tasha Tumbleson.
I move to pass the initial salary step placement for Ms. Tumbleson.
I second. Discussion?
None here.
Okay, for the vote, Mr. Rocha?
Aye.
And I as well. Motion passes. Okay, discussion items, monthly activity report for September 2021. Have any discussion?
None, no discussion here.
Okay. Looks like interviews we'll have. For clarification on final interviews, the last item is Office Assistant 3 additional rank. What does that mean versus just Office Assistant 3?
Which item are we talking about?
For the
Final interviews.
monthly activity report, final interviews.
Oh, someone declined and then went to the next rank.
So the top 3 came up and there were
One.
no ties, so they had to pull up.
Go to the next one, exactly, yeah.
So, any other discussion?
None.
Okay. Current recruitments and transfers.
Let's see here. I do have a couple of questions on the recruitments. The transfer for the instructional assistant, special education. This one is the bus aid now. So I guess the conversation is always for me now through the instructional assistants is bus aid. Now we've added bus aid. Is this the first time that I've seen it?
We've not added a new classification of bus aid.
Now, the new listing of the word, under the site,
Yeah.
and assignment, is this the first time that I'm seeing this?
Because now
And
we
is
know
this-
where the location's gonna go when the position's vacant.
And again, for my self-edification now, when I look at all these duties, and I even went to our site to see all these duties, to see both of these, I guess the $64,000 question, is this creating a new classification? Mind you, this job description does not say anything about riding the bus. It just says assist in loading and unloading of students from buses as assigned. It doesn't, it's not another duty as assigned, because that clearly does not come close to meeting any of these essential functions. So I guess by telling these people up front now that, hey, you're gonna be riding a bus, the only thing that really comes close for their assignment is to be on the bus, and the closest this job description gets there is to assist and unload and load onto buses. So I guess that's where I fail to see that we are giving proper information to people who are applying to transfer, and if it's open to the public, that we're giving them any kind of a real idea of what their duties are going to be assigned. And if it comes down to being the bus, I can see a frustration level that it doesn't, I would say, well, I can't. And if we keep on going through these lists, if we keep on having people apply for something that may not be even remotely close to this, then I could see us losing applicants and maybe not even getting them back. That's my concern. If this has to be a separate classification, so be it. Let's start working on it. But, I would I think that's the frustration level where I am at, and I think it's been expressed as well. So I don't know that this is going to work for me.
And just note, the commissioner's concerns have been brought to district administration.
Okay. And that's it? You got no response from district administration?
They didn't give me a response, but the concerns have been taken to district administration.
I know for this particular posting, I think you and I are looking at the same posting. Shortly after this came out, a correction came out where the words bus aid were removed because there's not a bus aid. And it was changed to reflect that they would be assigned to transportation, but it was no longer titled the bus aid. But
So-
I did ask that this bus aid concern be brought to cabinet, because it was my understanding that the district cabinet is the one that makes the decision. Remember, I asked, who makes the decision when somebody asks for a new position that's not already a vacancy? Who makes the decision what it's going to be called or what it would be? And we were told it was cabinet. So I asked that the cabinet be asked to create a new position called bus aide so that it falls along the right lines. So my response was that cabinet was informed, and it was kind of like, okay, move along. It was, again, placed at the bottom of the priority list. So as far as what we can do, I'm just kind of trying to figure out what that is. But as far as recruiting for a bus aide, I believe that has been corrected because we don't have a position called bus aide. However, as far as recruiting for instructional assistant special education and misleading the candidates that they're going to be working in a classroom, and then the district exercises their right, the cabinet is what I'm being told, exercises their right to place them on a bus for 8 hours a day and not, and then if somebody, like you said, leaves because they don't want to really be on a bus 8 hours a day, but they were looking for some bread and butter, and then they're not given the opportunity to transfer into one of the vacant positions at a site who's also hurting because they have not passed probation. So they have to sit along there. And who knows if they will pass probation because they're being evaluated by the director of transportation, who knows what his experience is in evaluating them on the essential duties that are listed on the evaluation form. So this is a whole mess. Mess. There's a lot of hands that need to be in the soup, but there's only a couple that are actually in there. Some people are not willing to put their hands in and fix this. It's falling on us to try and make the right decisions wherever our authority is.
So
And
where
I'm
is
trying
our-
to find out what our authority is.
I was about to say, so what
We're
is
trying to
our
find out.
authority?
So I kind of asked that the cabinet bring forward that, hey, it needs to be a bus aide, knowing that even the board expressed that there was some issues, but they're not working on fixing them. As far as I know, that has not been communicated to us. I speak us as the commission. I haven't heard if it has. But anyhow, it's not bus aid anymore. They did send out a correction that was just saying assigned to transportation, 5 hours a day. So, but that's not the people on that instructional aid list that we approved. They don't
Okay.
fall under this flyer.
No, they don't. That was previous, okay. So even if we pass this one, these people
not
are going to
e-
be
it-
misinformed.
Yeah,
the
it's
same.
just for
a misin-
information. This is basically just letting us know what was advertised
Oh.
and then corrected. This actual posting was corrected. But that's all that's doing, is just kind of letting us know this is what
Okay, well
was put
then,
out there.
so if it was corrected, I wasn't aware that it was corrected.
It was corrected the same day. We got-
I
came
mean,
right
because I
back
got
up.
this and I pulled it off Board Docs, so I'm
Right.
at the point
On-
of where I say.
Are you on the email list where you get every posting that goes out? We want to make sure that Mr. Rocha receives those. Any job bulletin that goes out, there's a list of people who are required to receive those. And so that's where it was retracted. And-
Okay.
And so if you're not on the, almost daily, there's something coming out that shows, so you're just receiving what's coming in our packets.
Correct.
Okay. That'd be why you didn't know that was changed. Okay.
Then I do have one more, is the recruitment for a classified personnel technician. I think, I don't know, and correct me, Mr. Dickinson, if we had, is this something we discussed in open forum or closed on a request for the technician or clerical at that point?
We did discuss it, yes.
Did we discuss, what I want to do is not say anything that I shouldn't be saying.
We discussed it.
In general
We
meeting?
discussed it.
I don't know what our metrics are for requesting a personnel technician, meaning I need data to support that we actually want one, and it also came up if we needed clerical. I think we had a couple of choices, if we wanted to go clerical or technician, because we knew of a promotion that was coming up. And so I'm of the opinion that I would like to see a clerical position in the unit. I think there's a lot of things going on in your department. I think it's fluid, it's constant. There's a lot of motion, moving pieces. And sometimes things, setting up the smaller things that you need to support you, I think, in making sure meetings are scheduled and all these different types of things that happen are needed from my view, from my opinion and my point of view. I don't know enough about how many applications are processed, how it's divvied up, divide that by 52 weeks, 26 weeks, how many in the school year. I mean, you're constantly hiring.
Or for recruitment.
For recruitments and things like that. I would like to see, before we even go to this part here, why we actually need a technician for your department over a clerical.
Well, the technician is replacing the position that's
I
already
understand
existing.
that. I understand that. Now, I do understand that because someone promoted, and that's why we had that conversation in the past. So in this case here, are you more in need of a technician or a clerical? And in my opinion, like I say, in my opinion, it would be clerical.
But I'm the one who has to manage the work, you guys, and we talked about this already. And the recommendation for me was to fill the position with the existing classification that's been in the office.
I don't remember saying that, but okay, if it is, I still recall that we were saying, well, do we need clerical or do we need a technician? That's what I'm recalling, but that's where I would like to see the discussion, this held out, so that we can investigate that and not take our time. Mind you, I understand what you do need. But those are my 2 cents at this point.
I think we could probably look at the duties. I know there's a duty distribution list type thing, and revisit that. Also, if it is this position, I would like to see it opened up so that other than those that are able to transfer could apply and possibly promote. Right now, it's being limited to only those who could transfer. And I understand the rule talks about we want those to have first, but we want them to also be able to promote. And I don't see that it's been opened up other than for transfer. So I would like to see the position, if it is classified personnel technician, be recruited open and promotional. Is that what it is? Open and promotional. Okay. Any other discussion?
And that's it for me.
Okay. And so commissioner comments or future agenda items? Do you have any other comments?
None.
Okay. Mr. Valencia is absent. Okay. As far as the advanced step placement, I think we've made a step in the right direction. I know that you've worked with your staff and come up with a rubric that seems like it's going to be able to work to have some clear and concise information as far as how the advanced step placement criteria, whether the employee meets it or not. I know that there were some concerns and that things may have been missed or whatnot, and I'm glad that that was done, and I think it's going to work, and I think it's going to be helpful to your staff, and I think it's going to address some of the concerns. Granted, a lot of concerns are brought forward, and we don't change things every time something is brought about. There's not anything being changed in the procedure as far as what I was shown with that. It's just having some documentation there.
Madam Chair, I'm sorry, there was a rubric created?
It's
Is
a draft.
It's a.
And I got
okay.
my nosy self
Oh,
in there.
okay.
It's not a,
All right.
it's not a
I was
closed
like,
session
what?
type thing. It's just a draft, and I happened to go in and when it was in draft mode, and I think it's gonna be pretty cool. Back to one of the items that we discussed at the last meeting where I requested us to be able to try and find some way to do a workshop, whatever it might be called, if workshop is the correct title, meeting name, whatever it may be, so that we were legal within the Brown Act and whatnot, and being able to have the conversations that were requested, and we thought it was, a good idea or whatever. I know we haven't got our answer yet, and that is still being worked on. I'm hoping that comes about soon, so that when we hold whatever it might be, we are within the Brown Act and that kind of stuff, so. I think those are the only couple things that I needed to follow up with at this time. Mr. Dickinson, secretary comments?
Just quick save the date for,
Sure.
save the date for the annual conference, and that's it. There's a need for closed session, and that's it.
Okay. All right. So, have a motion to adjourn to closed session.
I move to adjourn and go to closed session.
I second that. Vote, Mr. Rocha.
Aye.
I as well. So we adjourn to closed session at 4:11 PM. Okay, with no action taken in closed session, and with there being no further business to come before the commission, may I have a motion to adjourn this meeting?
I motion to adjourn today's meeting.
Okay, and I second that. And Mr. Rocha for the vote,
Aye.
and I as well. And our meeting is adjourned at 5:44 PM. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night.